Yeah, we have. I dropped in to ask you a favour.
Yes, of course, if I can help.
Well, it's a bit daft, really. It's about Glen. She's gone away for a day or two, and I haven't got the address. But I had it, of course. Well, trust me, I lost a bit of paper I wrote it down on. So I wondered if she'd mentioned a phone number or anything.
No, I'm sorry. Maybe one of the girls in the kitchen would remember.
Yeah. Yeah, well, if you could ask around, I'd be grateful.
Sure, I'll do that.
There you go.
Oh.
You've caught her on the hop.
That'll be the day.
I absolutely refuse to rush.
Who's asking?
Puts me out of gear for the whole day.
Oh, we can't have that, can we?
Well, we'll get there real quick in a panda car, won't we? How long are you going to be?
5 minutes.
Right, time for another cup of coffee. I see you've been looked after.
Oh,
Nothing but the best.
I suppose I shouldn't really be seen like this, should I?
You're a flower. Go on, tell her. She's a little flower.
Oh, you look like...
No, shut up. You don't have to bother. I hear your dad's back.
Yeah, that's right.
How is he?
Fine.
Good.
I thought he looked particularly well.
Yeah, should be, shouldn't he? Living off the fat of the land.
Oh, are you jealous?
Not me, you got the wrong fella.
Yeah, it must seem strange to you, him being back.
Strange.
Well, after the way he left.
Not really.
Is it likely to cause problems? For you at work, you know?
I shouldn't think so.
Come to terms, have we?
Call it what you like.
Isn't it going to worry you just a little?
Are you going to insist that it does?
Don't be silly. Has he said anything about going back?
Hmm?
Well, if things are wound up here.
Oh, he mentioned something about it, but I talked him out of it.
Why?
Seemed like a good idea at the time.
Hey, Mac. What do you think of that soundproofing kit?
Oh, great. Any other maker might put one in like a shot. But he'd never get rid of that gear whine. Because if he quieting on the engine anymore, it'll just make it worse. I mean, you know, like more noticeable like.
So what do I tell him? Get a pair of earmuffs or something?
Or change his motor.
Oh, we love that. If only had it a fortnight, cost him over 3,000 quid.
It's really bothering him then, is it?
Driving him balmy.
Pity. Because it was just the exhaust. We could soundproof it. He thought he was driving a new set of wheels. But screaming gears.
So he's lumbered, is he?
Well, until he gets used to it.
Or two little fellas in white coats come and carry him away. Hello. If the Lord doesn't come, he sends. Hey, listen, you look like a fellow with strong nerves. You still in the market for a car?
You are?
I got one here that shoots you down to the ground like 40,000 miles on the clock, goes like a bomb. I could probably knock it down to a couple of thousand quid.
No, sir.
You're missing out on a good deal.
You looking for me?
Yeah. Hello, Crossroads Garage. Oh, yes. Hello, Mr. Weldon. Yeah. Well, I'm sorry about the delay, but it's still spares, I'm afraid. Yeah, I know it's been 2 weeks, but there's nothing I can do about it. I can go and see if they've arrived, okay? Yeah. Well, if they haven't, I'll chase them. I'll ring you back, yeah. I got your number. Yeah, okay. Ta-ra. What do you think I am, Merlin the Magic?
I just wanted a word.
Well, make it quick. I'm up to here.
It's about you and Glen. She's been going round to your place a lot.
Well, I told her not to bother. I can manage now.
It's not that. I just wondered if she'd said anything.
What about?
Thing is, she's pushed off for a couple of days. Some friend of hers invited her over, and I've forgotten where it was she said she was going.
You what?
The address. I wondered if she'd mentioned it.
Oh, not to me. Look, you two haven't had another row, have you?
No.
About Carol?
No, nothing to do with it.
Oh.
She.
See ya.
Yes. Ah, here it is. That's the one I was telling you.
All right. Yes, we'll get that over to Mr. Ross, will you?
Right.
I'll look after the desk.
Where's Shaheen?
Chasing after Paul Ross for me.
Dining room?
Mm-hmm. I suppose so.
Mrs. Hunter? If not forgiven, I hope I'm now understood.
What?
The letter.
What letter?
I see you've not been told. I'd hoped you had been.
Told what and by whom?
A letter I asked Paul Ross to show your husband last night. I assumed he would have shown it to you.
Sorry, I don't know what you're talking about.
We had a rather frosty meeting. That time you asked me to leave the motel and I wouldn't. Well, I'd hoped that the letter would explain to you my reasons for wanting to stay. Oh, never mind. I expect your husband will show it to you at some stage. And then I hope you'll understand me as I understand you. I realize you were trying to be tactful on that occasion.
found Mr. Ross. He'll attend to it with Mrs. Hamilton.
I attend to what?
The block booking mess up. You sent me to inquire about it.
Oh, yes, right. Well, I'm sure it will smooth itself out, whatever it's about. Darling, did you see a letter in connection with Miss Moran last night?
Yes. Paul Ross showed it to me at the girl's request.
Oh, it's just that she'd assumed you'd tell me what was in it.
It was a letter from her father. I followed it around the world and caught up with her only yesterday, here.
Yes, well, she certainly assumed that I knew all about that, but also the contents of the letter.
Well, the contents of the letter were to the effect that he was angry with Kate Hamilton and was cutting her out of his will.
Goodness, I saw Kate just now, and she seemed quite calm. In spite of hearing news of that sort of nature.
Well, possibly because she hadn't heard news of that nature. I really don't know.
Oh, you mean you didn't pass it on to her either?
Either?
Well, I gathered it wasn't shown to you in confidence.
Well, since the letter had been shown to me, I assumed it already had, or soon would, be shown to her.
On the face of things, you were mistaken.
Well, what does it matter whether I was mistaken or not? It was informal, a father writing to his daughter, nothing important.
The daughter seemed to think otherwise.
But the daughter is being silly in law. It doesn't matter a jot.
Who was discussing the law?
Well, I suppose I was.
Why?
Well, that is the crux, isn't it? A letter like that couldn't alter Tony Moran's will. A letter that the next day he could decide didn't represent his true feelings.
Except that before the next day arrived, he was dead.
What do you mean by that?
Well, why do you ask?
It sounded as if you were confessing a suspicion about Kate.
Confessing, you said.
What?
Confessing a suspicion about Kate. I mean, has just suspecting Kate become a sin?
That is not only a ridiculous thing to say, it was...
It was what?
untrusting.
Who's least trusting whom? Me, Kate, or you, me?
I don't know what you are suggesting. I absolutely do not know it.
I'm not suggesting anything. I am stating that you were shown a letter last night on behalf of Miss Moran, who asked for it to be shown to you, but also expected for me to know about it. That's all. But you didn't tell me.
Why should I? I didn't tell Kate either. Has that escaped your notice?
No, it hasn't. I mean, it could be said that both Kate and I have been treated by you with exact equality. And in fact, one should marvel at your scrupulous impartiality in showing not one jot of favoritism to your wife.
I have told you it would have been upsetting to mention it to Kate. Tactless.
Yes, I agree. For Kate, silence would have been tact. But for me, what was it for me?
Oh, I'm sorry. Do you need the desk?
No, Kate, it's all yours.
Yes.
Can I speak to Mrs. Hamilton, please?
For you.
Oh, thank you. Hello? Mrs. Hamilton, it's Georgina Moran. Can I come and see you in your chalet after work this evening? Mrs. Hamilton.
What do you want to talk to me about?
Well, I'd rather not tell you over the telephone. There's something I think you should see for yourself, rather than have read to you.
Read?
I quite understand if you don't want to see me in your chalet.
I finish at 6 o'clock.
Fine. 6 o'clock, then.
Yes.
Still no sign of that gearbox?
Oh, they are the limit.
They promised it today, 4:30, top whack.
They've got plenty to be getting on with.
Plenty.
How's Benny making out with the rubbing down?
He's doing fine. He's a real artist.
Yeah, but he seems happy enough. Come on. Yeah, I'm not getting a lot of joy on this.
Well, all packed in like normal people.
Hello, you flagging?
Now, this fella.
Tomorrow I shall tear them apart with relish.
Can I come and watch?
I'll sell tickets.
It's good stuff, though, isn't it? That wet and dry.
Terrific.
And it lasts ever such a long time, you know. All you do is just keep dipping it. And that stuff, you know, that filling that Nobby made up, oh, it comes up really good, just like silk.
You stick to it, man.
Yeah. Mind you know, it seems a shame that after you've done it all that nice grey colour, then you start rubbing it down again.
Well, you've got to get that finish.
Yeah, that's what he said, but seems a shame, doesn't it?
You wait till you're doing a really high-class job. You get soap and you get the finest paper.
Soap?
You got to, so it doesn't shift. Brings it up like glass.
Oh, yes, soap. I'll have to try that, won't I?
Oh, you wait till you get the go-ahead. Oh, that takes time, mate, and time is money.
What's wrong?
Why should something be wrong?
Well, who's wasting time?
Listen, I cracked the whip round here. I decided to finish early for once, okay?
Why don't you go out and celebrate?
Celebrate what?
The fact that your jobs are safe.
Oh.
Yeah?
That's a thought. Have you got a sub for me? How about it?
I would do better, but I've got a very nice policeman waiting for me, and he's liable to get done for loitering with intent if I don't show soon, so have a couple on me.
What are you
come
kidding?
on, I mean it. You've all had a pretty rough time. With one thing and another, please, take it.
Thanks, kid.
That includes you as well, Benny. Double Coke on the rocks, yeah?
Oh, yeah.
Right, see you in the morning.
We'll queue up for that performance about the gearbox.
Oh, that's really nice of her.
She's a good kid.
She's right. It's been a rough old time. It's taken years off my life.
Yeah, well, it comes and goes, doesn't it?
Are you pretending you're not relieved?
No, but when I told Maeve, her little face lit up. I was hoping it was going to ignite, but it just lit up. It's good news, all right. Well, to a point.
Some people are never satisfied.
Now, listen, the talk about us getting together, that's what got me going.
Didn't get her going enough to sell the house, though, did it?
Well, no, she wouldn't have done anyway, so there's no point. But the idea about us three getting together, that's magic, that.
Yeah.
We don't need it now, though.
Yeah, but if we were, the three of us, to do something, work like, it'd be really good, wouldn't it?
Yeah, Dreamsville, old son.
Well, it's still got my money. And you could use it. All of us, you know, honest, I'd be really glad about that.
I can't see it, Benny.
Trouble with you is, mate, you got blinkers on. Tunnel vision, that's what you got. Why don't you take the wider view?
Yeah, the wider view.
Still, something will happen, never mind. Meanwhile, race you to the pub.
Come on, come on.
Come in. Oh, you're very punctual. I'm sorry. Shall I come back when you're ready?
No. While you're here, you might as well sit down.
No, I shan't keep you long. This is a photocopy of a letter. I have the original. It was written by my father a few hours before he met his death. Take it, Mrs. Hamilton. Read it. Did you know, a few hours before he died, did you know my father was going to cut you out of his will? You can keep that. What I do with the original will depend on whether you come to me with an explanation or not. Good night, Mrs. Hamilton.
Yes.
Can I come and see you? Or could you come here?
Here would be convenient.
Are you alone?
I shall be. However, I'm going to be a little late receiving our dinner guests. Can you hold them up there?
Goodness, didn't notice the time. Why, what's come up?
Oh, nothing for you to worry about. I can cope.
Now, before you start getting any ideas, I haven't heard a thing.
Come in. Oh, what are you doing here, then?
I don't know, really. I just thought... Oh, Kevin, I'm sorry about the other night.
Oh, forget it.
Some of the things I said.
Yeah, well, you're bound to be on Glenda's side.
Well, it's not really any of my business.
Sit down. Can I get you a sherry?
Oh, yes, thanks. Kath and Arthur will be back soon, won't they?
Yeah, about you.
I'll tell you something. Glenda is not going to leave them alone without telling them where she is.
No.
So just take it from there, eh?
If she gives me the chance.
So. Kevin, why are you so dead against it?
Glen's a great believer in happy endings. Everything's simple and uncomplicated. All she can see is us with the baby. People cooing over it in its pram, watching it grow up. Everything normal. She won't stop for a minute and consider it might not turn out that way after all.
What, you mean you think there might be something wrong with it?
Well, it's got to be chancy.
Kevin, you've only got to look in the newspapers, in that book she's got.
They're the lucky ones. Who's to say how many have tried and failed? Or had a baby born handicapped in some way?
Tried and failed to get one started, I go along with. But I don't buy being born handicapped. There's less chance of that this way than in a normal birth.
Oh, come on.
Well, of course there is. It stands to reason they wouldn't let it happen. They're bound to keep a really close check on all the initial stages. And then, if anything goes wrong, they'd stop it. They'd just end the pregnancy.
Abortion?
Yeah. It's not a dirty word, you know.
Look, I'm not being bloody minded. I'm thinking about Glenn. Just think what it'd do to her going through all that and ending up with nothing.
But if she's willing to take the risk...
I'm not. It was bad enough last time at that fertility clinic, all those blooming tests.
Are you sure you're thinking of Glenda?
Oh, all right, I'm not that keen on being part of the experiment either.
Well, it depends how much you want to stay married to her, doesn't it?
I'm not going to be blackmailed into agreeing.
Finish with her, then.
You what?
It's either one thing or the other, isn't it? She's not going to stop wanting that baby.
Drink?
No. No, thanks. Oh, you're supposed to be entertaining those people from the conference centre. Is that tonight?
Yes, tonight. No hurry. Barbara can cope.
Does she suspect me too? Paul Ross, Richard Lloyd, Georgina Moran, they all do. I know.
You don't know, Kate. You imagine.
No, I don't imagine. I know. Georgina Moran's told me.
Well, then Georgina Moran will have to go. I'll speak to her tonight, as soon as you've told me.
No, David, you mustn't provoke her.
Provoke her? After she's reduced you to this state? Now, how has she done that, Kate? Tell me.
She brought a letter. A photocopy of a letter that Tony wrote.
Yes, I know. I've seen it. It's nothing important at all.
You know.
Paul Ross asked me to read it last night at the girl's request. But what on earth can be invalidated by a letter like that? Yes, Kate, I know.
But why didn't you tell me? Why didn't you tell me when Paul Ross told you?
Kate,
why didn't you tell me last
night?
night?
As I said to my wife, I didn't want to...
You've told your wife and you haven't told me?
No, last night, all today, I didn't want to upset you unnecessarily by telling you something I assumed you already knew.
Don't lie.
Lie?
Well, haven't you?
I've told you the truth.
Have you? Isn't this the truth? That even you suspect me?